wave across the western United States set records over the weekend. Death Valley hit 130 degrees Fahrenheit. That is possibly the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth.
The highest recorded ever temperature was also taken in Death Valley in 1913, but notes that many experts question the 134-degree reading observed then.
这不是什么值得开心的记录。死亡谷的熔炉溪一连数天都出现了华氏130度高温，不止在美国。
正午過ぎ、41.1 度を観測した浜松市。観測史上国内で最も高い気温となりました。今日136人が病院に運ばれ、9人は症状が重く、命の危険がある状態だということです。
Now, the Met Office has tracked what it calls tropical nights, where the temperature never gets below 20 degrees Celsius. In the 3 decades up to 1990, there were 44 of these. In the next 3 decades, there were 84. And there have been 3 tropical nights in this month alone.
Climate change is going to mean more extremes. More extreme heat waves, more extreme hurricanes, more extreme fire seasons.
California, fires burning at both ends of the state, blazing temperatures and strong winds, giving birth to this, a massive firenado. Touchdown Saturday near the Nevada border.
It is incredibly dangerous because of how erratic the fire behavior is, exceeding 60, 70, 80, maybe even 100 miles per hour on fire.
The firenado warning came in the afternoon. Residents in the area told to take cover. In the end, no injuries were reported.
Coming down the street, the first house was on fire, and then my neighbor's house was on fire.
The fire sparked, meteorologists believe, by lightning. Bay Area is now recovering from what climate scientists called a wild night.
总计72小时内，闪电近11000次，造成了至少367起野火。火在湾区四面八方燃烧，大量浓烟笼罩整个金山湾，分不清浓烟来自哪个火场。
It's not isolated. This is really a Central and Northern California event. Some fire activity has been going on in Southern California as well.
Freeman 说，加州近来这一连串野火、热浪与干雷暴其实是相关联的。
The situation in California is really the result of a really intense, record-shattering heat wave that has gripped the region for well over a week, coupled with a relatively dry stretch of weather. I mean, they're in their dry season right now. So you get the heat, which dries things out even more. And then they had strong winds over the past couple of days. Then there was this other factor, which you don't normally see in Northern and Central California, which is a barrage of thunderstorms. There was lightning striking in San Francisco. It was quite gorgeous, but really unsettling for people who live there. So the big main fires are around the San Francisco Bay Area.
The Holscher fire in Lake Piru growing overnight. 2 firefighters sustained minor injuries. Napa County's Hennessy fire causing widespread evacuations as the fire has not been contained.
This is hitting during a time of the pandemic, and California has been quite hard hit by the pandemic in the last couple of months especially. So emergency officials are having to take that into account, and there's some risks here because there are firefighters now coming into California from all over the United States. And they're obviously going to be fighting these fires side by side. That is outdoors, which is a lower risk, and they have protective equipment, but that's still a concern. And then for people who are fleeing fires at the last minute, if they're going to shelters that are indoors, they have to provide for social distancing.
把发生在加州的极端气候恶性循环放大到全世界来看，也就不难理解了。
The burning of the Amazon puts more carbon into the atmosphere. More carbon in the atmosphere warms up the planet further. And we know that forest burning, the burning of the Amazon, bushfires in Australia released nearly twice as much carbon into the atmosphere as all of fossil fuel burning in Australia did that year. And so that is increasing the concentrations of these gases, but it's what we call a feedback. It's only happening because we're warming up the planet in the first place, and we're drying out those forests and creating the conditions. So it amplifies the warming.
Scientists say that rising global temperatures make heat waves more likely. and the current one isn't over yet.
The California heat is melting away the state's power supply.
Let me just make this crystal clear. We failed to predict and plan these shortages.
Governor Gavin Newsom admitting in a press conference on Monday the state wasn't prepared for the moment, forcing CalISO, who manages the state's power grid, to order utility companies to cut power to customers. And if it doesn't happen fast enough, the state's demand for power could exceed the supply.
We had a power outage for an hour. It's very frustrating.
Typically, California can take power from neighboring states like Arizona and Washington, but it's hot there too, so they don't have enough power to give.
The agency warned of outages with the potential to cut power to 3 million Californians.
A perfect storm leading to California's power struggle, but some aren't accepting heat as an excuse.
Guess what? There is a heat wave in California every single summer. This should not come as a surprise. That's why you have planning. That's why you run scenarios.
川普总统或许不相信气候变迁，不过气候变迁可不会因此放过美国。